Safety planning isn't about fear. It's about being prepared. It's about putting steps in place to protect yourself, your kids, your pets, and your peace of mind. Every safety plan is different. And today you may be thinking, well, this episode isn't for me. But I want to reach out and ask everyone listening today to just hear us out and have a think and consider a safety plan that may help you in a way that you did not foresee. We're going to talk you through who to talk to, what to pack, how to protect yourself and what to do when you're leaving, and how to protect yourself through the legal system. Whether you've left or thinking of leaving or think you don't need one yet, please hear us out and listen, as this may very well help you. Just a reminder that this is going to be discussing family violence and may be extremely triggering for some. If you do need a safety plan and you don't think you can listen to this, get a friend to listen to it for you and create your safety plan that way. Or of course, please call 1-800-RESPECT and they will link you up with a support service that can help you do this as well. Welcome, Mum.
Hello, Laura. Hello, everyone.
Now, it's really important that we point out, Mama, that we're not support services in this space. We are not your lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a psychologist. Mum's not a psychologist. We're talking through information that we have gathered, but also through Mum's understanding of seeing people go through this and my understanding of seeing people go through this. And as a way to help, maybe if you can't go and look it up online or if you can't speak to anyone else, we're here for you, particularly during this time.
Hello, I'm Laura, divorced mother of 3, and I'm here with my mother, Lynette Galvin, with 35 years' experience in family law. You're listening to the Divorce Course podcast. Through our candid discussions, we hope to help you through your divorce or de facto separation. We will be answering the most commonly asked questions and covering the stages and steps that you will face on your way to freedom.
So firstly, Mum, a lot of people, I've begged them to listen, may go, I don't need a safety plan. Why is it important that everyone considers having a safety plan, especially around this time of year?
Yes. Well, the Family Court says that over 83% of cases that go to court there's an allegation of family violence. And you may be in a situation that you don't really recognise as family violence. You may have coped all of these years with the behaviour of your partner. And then one day, and my experience tells me it's often on a weekend or Christmas, or believe it or not, some football finals seasons where everything blows up, it escalates, and suddenly you're in fresh, deep waters that you've never considered. And at times like this, it's handy to have thought about it and to have a plan. Like you have a bushfire plan. I live in a rural area. I have a bushfire plan because I know I'm probably going to be running around like a chook, trying to work out everything to do. I have a plan. I can follow it through and I know I'm okay. And I feel good about having that. I feel better to have it.
No one thinks straight when they are confronted with a threat. No one is thinking straight. You've got adrenaline running through your body. You're panicking. Your brain is going into survival mode. It's not going into deep thinking plan mode.
No.
And so if you can do this beforehand, now I have met people in the past who have been in situations where their partner has never hit them. There has been no physical abuse ever. And so they say, my partner would never hurt me physically. They're just very controlling. Why did those people need a plan, Mum?
Because controlling, the studies are showing coercive and controlling behaviours during a relationship are the best indicators of, to be honest, homicides against partners. It's a paradox, really. The first time that you get hit might be, or you get hurt, might be life-threatening, you know. And look, there's no harm in having it. You can keep it to yourself. You may feel a bit silly doing the things that we talk about doing, but there's no harm in it. You can do it safely, and you may just be very, very glad you did. I mean, my first family law case ever, and that was like 1983, the woman, I was so shocked, and she just said he had a gun and the kids and I ran down the street in our pajamas, and that was, they had nothing. And it was before the family violence legislation came out, and they didn't see that coming. Otherwise, she would have planned.
And if anyone's triggered by that, please call 13 11 14 Lifeline, and you can call 1-800-RESPECT. Now, there are people who are in relationships that are violent and they think to themselves, well, I'm kind of used to this. This is my normal. I'm not afraid of him or her. They're nothing. I'm used to it. I can manage it. I know what to do. I know how to avoid the drama. Those people I've noticed, when they finally get out of that relationship, they do start to realize, wow, I was in a lot of danger.
Yeah.
And so they go from being kind of brave and talking themselves through saying, no, this is okay, I can handle this, to holy moly, I was really in an unsafe situation. And it's usually those people that in that stage where they're like, no, this isn't too bad. He's only a little bit controlling, or only this has happened a couple of times. They're the ones that really need the safety plan. And it is hard to get. If you're listening to this for a friend, or if you're listening this yourself because I've just begged you to do it, sometimes you might not realize you need it yet. And if you're listening for a friend, they might not realize they need this help yet. They may be minimizing it. They don't want to face it. It's a way to survive themselves mentally, to go, this isn't happening. This is not as bad as you're saying it is. So you have to be there for them and kind of help them come around to it. Don't get frustrated with them. Don't hate on them because they're not where you are, because they're in the thick of it. They've been put through it for a long time. They are brainwashed, basically.
And maybe say to them, look, do it for me. I'm worried. If you don't do this, I'll be more worried.
Or do it for the kids.
Yeah. And there's a lot of resistance, Laura, and it's coming from a good place. Like nobody, I don't think, takes up a relationship with a woman or a man expecting to be abused during the relationship, or controlled or coerced during the relationship. And if that parent is the mother or father of your children, even more you don't want to believe.
Yeah.
I know you made that mistake. Why don't I have that? Why didn't I see that? So there's a real, in your heart, there's a real layer of not wanting to acknowledge it because you don't want to believe it, because you're going to have to rethink your whole life.
Or you may be one of those people who are embarrassed and go, no, I'm not a battered wife. I've seen those people with the black eyes and that's not me. And I don't want to waste people's time because I think I might be in danger. So there's also those people who just try and say, well, mine's not bad enough to get help. Anyway, there's something to think on. And now we're going to take you through these steps that we want you to work on. So number one, the first thing you need to do is talk to a support service. So, and making a safety plan with a professional is the best way to do it. If you can't, we're going to talk you through some things. But number one, go and speak to 1-800-RESPECT and get them to hook you up with whoever they can. You can also text, apparently, 0458 737 732. So that's helpful as well. And there's 1800respect.org.au.
Do you know, I think even if you feel silly doing it, even if you think, I'm a professional, this doesn't happen to people like me, even if you do, they can tell you, oh, no, you're okay. Or they can say, well, actually, and they can open your eyes, that what they will not do, if you contact the right service, they will not contact your ex. So it's between you and them. It can be anonymous, I believe. So, and how many times have we heard, I've got a friend and she's in this situation, or he's got that.
Yeah. So that's number one. So we're asking you all to do that. Number two, we're going to look at safety in the home. We know a lot of our listeners, don't we, that separated under one roof. And holiday time with alcohol is quite a troubled time. So one of the suggestions in the safety plan is if you can trust your neighbour, if you think your neighbour's not going to go and rat to your ex, or a carer who's nearby, or someone across the road, if you're friends with someone in your street, you could ask them, can you please call the police if you hear something that you're worried about? If you hear someone crying or screaming or any drama, please just ask them. Reach out and say, hey, could you call the police if you see a car like this turn up, if you don't live with your ex and you're worried that they're going to show up. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing is if you have kids, you need to kind of prep them without scaring them for warning signs and what steps your children can take to stay safe. So don't involve them in any of the drama.
You can have a practice and say, imagine we're doing an emergency Macca's run. How quick can you get into the car? Imagine we're doing a sleepover at grandma's and we've only got 5 seconds or 5 minutes. And try not to coach them.
What would you do if you felt unsafe in the house? Where would you go? Where would you hide? What would you run to? And who would you talk to? And you could say you could run next door to Auntie Susie and ask them to call the police, or, so kind of create a little plan with them without them realizing it's a plan.
Do you know, neighbours are reluctant to call the police. They will, if you've been having loud fights, they will know about it because sound carries, and they would think, oh, it's nothing to do with me. I'm not going to embarrass them by calling the police. So if you give a neighbour permission to call the police, they will, because they want to help you, but they don't want to intrude. That's my experience.
And you could say, hey, if things get bad, I've told my children to run across the road to you or to run to you. Can you please keep them safe if this goes on? Now, that's something you could do in your local area. Step 3, you need to have somewhere to go, okay? And one of the things, Mum, you always point out is going somewhere where they know you will go is not a particularly great plan.
It can be really unsafe, and we've got, there's stories about that in the paper. Everyone knows someone or knows of a story where they can find you. So if you can, the best thing to do is to actually physically go somewhere they wouldn't dream of looking for you. So think about that. Might be a friend of a friend. You might be able to grab an Airbnb, but you need someone else to pay for it, because don't forget your banking things will be tracked. There's a lot you can do to get somewhere safe, but it's got to be for you to feel safe and be able to sleep in bed at night, at least for those first couple of nights. You need to go somewhere safe. Put some distance between you both.
Yeah. There are crisis shelters you can go to. A part of your safety plan, it might be a good idea to find out what the number is for that. Get that prepped in advance. Ring them and say, if I need to, what's the process involved? Now, 1-800-RESPECT has an app called the Daisy app. If it is safe to do so, you could download that. I wouldn't do that if you were still living together under one roof and you were worried. But the Daisy app is there to help you connect to services through your phone as opposed to just ringing them up. So have a plan for who you're going to go to. And just remember, and I think people worry about this, Mum, if they leave, that they don't have a right to their house. So can we just put this to bed right now?
Yes. Yeah. I read about it in another forum as well, someone telling someone to not leave the house. That may be the law somewhere else, but in Australia, there's no such law. You don't lose your claim to the house by leaving. It just remains either available to you because it's in joint names or part of the property pool because it's in their name.
And this is Australian.
This is Australia, yeah.
Yeah, so don't let that be the reason you're staying. And it is better, if we're talking about going, it is better to go in a time that you prepare and plan for than waiting for something to snap. It is better to prepare to go and make your plan according to your timeline, not according to your ex's timeline when they are going to go off the rails.
Yes.
So if you can, go sooner. But make sure, again, that you plan when you go, because that is the most dangerous time when someone is leaving a coercive, controlling relationship.
It is, absolutely. Do you know, you talked about Christmas with the alcohol, but even in families where that's not an issue, both of you are off work. If you're having, mostly people are having a Christmas break and things flare up because the rest of the time it's off to work and off to school and you're all busy and it's just a fleeting thing. But sitting there looking at each other over Christmas is sometimes the catalyst for either a separation or, an explosion.
Yeah. So reach out to somebody that you know that maybe your ex doesn't know, or reach out to somebody who's friends with somebody and say, hey, can I, in an emergency, please come to your place day or night, and make a plan with them. You don't want to be ringing them while you're in the car driving on the night with kids. Like, you want to have that plan in advance and find someone who, in the back of your head, okay, I've got somewhere to go.
Yep.
Okay, preparing an escape bag is the next step that people need to do.
Yeah.
Now, I guess you could look at this if you've had kids, like preparing your labour bag.
It is. It's a go bag.
It's not meaning it's going to happen, but it just means you're going to be way less stressed and way less upset when you go, particularly if you have kids.
Yeah.
So when it comes to it, you pack it and you store it somewhere hidden or with someone else. It's better to put it somewhere completely different.
Yes.
So that you don't have to be lugging things as well as getting out of the house, because that can be a trigger for someone.
I don't think anyone ever regrets packing a go bag. You would rather have packed it and never needed it than be needing it and you didn't prep for it. Like you said, especially with kids.
So keys, money,
medicine,
important documents, medicine, stuff for the kids to do, pajamas, like all that kind of stuff. Now, if it's going to be obviously noticed as missing, you can, I guess, see if you can get it prepped by go to the op shops, get some stuff over the next couple of weeks, or I've seen other people, if they can't get money, they use their credit card that gets looked at by their controlling partner to buy Woolworths vouchers, and that just shows up as Woolworths on the grocery list. So that's what some people have done, and then they tuck those Woolworths vouchers in their, or the vouchers
they
in
buy
their
those
bag.
cards, yes. So they get it's a Visa card or something, a gift card, and then you can use it elsewhere, and that's good. I think the being able to track you in real time with your credit card or your Uber, if you're getting an Uber, or if you're going across toll roads and things, or even if your vehicle, Laura, is set up for that tracking in real time. You have to take all those things into account as well.
Yeah, yes. So when you are packing this stuff, consider we've got a before you go checklist as well.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about it there's always a way to get that stuff if you need it, but it is a good idea. Things like passports, birth certificates, driver's license, things like that. We've got a whole list of things that are, if you've got that kind of partner and you are going to go into the legal sphere with them later, they're going to be things you really wish you had, like superannuation information, bank account details, all of those things. So we do have a checklist if you've got the time and if it's safe.
Don't wait until you've done it to leave if you're not safe. And you know what, Laura, you don't owe explanations.
No.
I know that it sounds, a lot of people think that sending a text message or leaving a note in the kitchen is a bit of a coward's way out. It's not. It's saving everyone from unnecessary drama. If your partner can't regulate their behaviour, then you can simply leave. You don't have to go back. And if you've got your go bag, you really don't have to go back. You can make do with what you've done.
And if somebody else has got your go bag, that's even better.
Even better, yes.
So we've got keys, money, important documents. Get a friend to look after it for you. And the other thing they recommend, and this is on the 1-800-RESPECT website, is share a code word with someone close so they know that you need help without you saying you need help.
In fact, I would tell that code word to a few different people so that if you're ringing up and you've got something going on around you, then one person doesn't answer, you can use that code word with other members of your family or friends. Yeah. And it might be something like ordering a pizza or something.
A word that you would say to your friend. Yeah.
Yep.
And then so your ex might be thinking you're just talking to your friend, but you're actually saying, hey, I'm in danger, I need help. So that's a really good plan to come up with a code word. I know people do it with their kids too.
Yes.
Because some people may come up and say, oh, mummy or daddy said, I'm coming to pick you up. And if they don't have the code word, the kids know that they're full of crap. So you need to have a code word with your friends so that if your ex is sitting right next to you and you're on the phone, or your ex makes you speak to your friends on loudspeaker, they'll know if you use that word that you're in danger or you're trying to leave or you need them to call the police.
Yes.
All right. So then number 5 is planning your escape route. Thinking about the fastest and safest way to leave. So like Mum said, you don't need to tell them you're leaving. You don't need to give them a reason. You don't owe them anything.
No.
You don't owe them bupkis. So if you are leaving, they'll find out eventually. There is going to be, obviously, potentially be legal property settlement and kids stuff. So that's all going to happen, okay?
Yeah.
You don't need to, in the dangerous time, tell them that you're going.
And you're saving everyone from the drama, them as well. I mean, a lot of people, the best exit's out through the laundry. The person may think you're in the toilet. It doesn't matter. You can do that sort of just Leave and be safe.
Saying you're ducking down the road to pick up something from the shops and just don't
Never come back.
So think about what's going to work best for you. If you've got a car, Mum, if there's two cars, or if they've got a car and it's in their name, or
it's in the other person's
what's the
name.
rule with cars? Can they just go with the car?
Just take a car. Yeah, just take a car. In the short term, it's safer for you to go in a vehicle if you can, rather than on foot. You can get further, put some more distance between. Ultimately, like you said, Laura, it all comes out in the wash. It all comes out in property settlement ultimately, and the court has the power to move the ownership of property from one person to the other. So just in your short-term planning, just make sure you've got a car.
So I follow this lady on TikTok, and she said she didn't leave when she needed to because her ex said, I'll tell the police that you've stolen the car if you take this car. And so she ended up staying. What do you say to people who say that to them if they're thinking of
do what I did?
The car?
Do what I did. I took the car and then I rang the police and said, you're about to get a complaint from X about this car, but it's not stolen. I've got it. I'm the wife and I'm running away.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And if you are stressing about the car situation, we have a really good episode on who keeps the car, because I do think that's one way that controllers continue to control.
It is. So, sometimes there's only one car. And I know you said if there's two cars, you can take one. But heck, if it doesn't belong to their employer, take the only car. It doesn't matter. You're the one who needs to get out for your safety.
And if you think your ex tracks their car or you're worried about that, your plan could be to drive that car to somewhere else, park it there, and get someone to pick you up from a location to take you to your hideaway.
Yes. Yep. Or get a train or whatever it is. Yep.
Now, I'm mindful that anyone listening to this is just freaking out right now because it's so many things to think about. And I feel like we're doing you a disservice because it is throwing a lot of stuff at your feet. But it's stuff to think about. And even if you just think about today, how would I plan my escape? Even if you just pack one bag today and get a friend to take it, just one of these steps is going to help you. So I want to acknowledge that this is a lot if you're listening to this, and I want to acknowledge that preparing for something bad is scary, and I get that. But what you are doing by doing this nervous feeling and the butterflies in your stomach that you may be having, you're saving yourself from having something much worse later, because you imagine trying to do all of this in panic mode.
Yep. Some people get spare car keys cut, because it's not unusual for a person to have the car keys and take the car keys off you.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and I think try to do it before the Christmas break or the long break. It's a lot harder to get your documents and a bag out of the house if the other person's there, right? So what you need to set yourself, if you can, is that if it all went terrible, all you need to do is walk out and nothing. You don't have to go and get your purse. You don't have to go and get you just walk out.
Because everything else is done already, which is great.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got pets, I know a lot of people stay for the pets, and there are things you can do with your pets. Okay, obviously ask family and friends if they can look after them. Make up an excuse that the pet had to go to the vet if you sort your pet out before you leave. But there's a RSPCA has safe beds program in some areas. So you can definitely reach out to some of those support services and see if they can take your pet in for a while, or see if you can get a friend or a family member to take your animal, because I understand that it can be a lot of stress for some people because that's their support as well.
Also, the animals can sometimes be subject to behaviour from the abuser that you don't want to think about.
No. So you've got to be careful with your pets as well. So make sure you've got a plan for them. Okay. The next step 6 is you've got to look at work. You've got to look at your work and online. It may be the most horrific thing for you to think about to go and talk to your employer. And you probably are a better judge than anybody of what kind of employer you've got. But there are rules set by the Australian government that these employers have to follow. And you are entitled to ask them for support and for leave if you need it. And you're entitled to a fair bit, okay? There is plenty of information out there. Your employer will know about that information. They're supposed to know about it.
Yep.
But if you let them know that
this has happened.
You're going to be leaving. This is your plan. They will be able to help you as well and support you. It is impossible to think that you're going to leave your ex through some horrible thing that's happened and then you're going to be able to turn up the next day for work. Okay?
It just doesn't happen. And don't tell your employer absolutely everything. They shouldn't know where you are, because if that filters through the staff, other members of the staff may let slip where you've gone.
So if you've got a protection order already, let them know you've got one. Keep that information, because your ex may be one of those people who turns up to your job, turns up to your workplace. The sooner you let your employer know, the better, so the better they can be prepared. Also, if you keep all of that to yourself and you're turning up to work and you're a mess, they can't do the maths, and they're just going to, they're not going to understand what's going on. So it's really important that you do that. Now, the other thing with online stuff, this is in step 6, make sure you've cleared your browser, make sure you've deleted your calls if you've been ringing 1-800-RESPECT, clear your browser if you've been searching shelters, etc. for crisis, because that will all be quite important. Change your passwords on your computer, your Apple phone. If you've got Apple, go to the Apple shop and ask them to help you to make it as safe as possible, to check for tracking. There are support services that you can find through the Purple Book and through 1-800-RESPECT that will link you up with tech experts if you think you're being stalked and looked at online. Change your email address, create a whole new email if you can.
And look out for family sharing and find my device.
Yes, location services and all
location
of that.
Service, all of those things. Quite frightening how connected we are.
Yeah. Now, obviously as well, when you leave, you need to stay safe. So in step 7, have a plan for where you're going to park your car, what mail are you going to use? Are you going to set up a PO box, or are you going to get your mail sent to a friend? Really think about changing the way you behave. Don't do the same thing every week. Don't go to the same shopping centre. Just to stay safe in that time of danger.
And if you had doctor's appointments or a standing appointment with the physio or whatever, change all those, or don't, or do it by telehealth. Yeah. Don't be predictable.
So this isn't a forever thing. You're not going to forever be living out of this get ready bag. You're not going to forever be living on the couch of a friend, and you're not going to forever be hiding away and not following a normal routine. This is temporary so that you can have a forever. And I think that's really important for everyone to understand. I know there's not much substance to what we've talked about here. And Mum, the next step after all of that is the legal steps that we usually talk about. And there are safety plans for the legal process.
For absolutely everything in the family court. The family court, if you have to go to the FCOA or even into the WA family courts, every court has safety plan preparers, and they're very informed about the subtle forms of family violence. So just ring up the inquiry numbers and tell them that you need a safety plan. Or if you have to file documents in the court, you can contact the court and say, I need some protection. Once this gets served on the other person, I'm going to need some help. And they have a whole range of things they can offer you. You'll be contacted usually by someone in the Lighthouse Project to talk through whether you need just a safety plan for your day in court, or whether you need to attend by electronic means, or whatever it is. And the same with mediation. It goes through the family court resources that I'll share with you, Laura, so we can put on the podcast, talk about every stage of the proceedings, how the court has these safety plans and arrangements for you. There's whole floors that have no access to the public. There's exits that no one knows. And there's a lot of security folk that you can't see in the court. If you think about it, have you ever seen a judge walk across where you're all sitting and into the room? It used to happen. They used to have a bell, and I remember it in 84, make way, and the judge would sweep through. But no, now those buildings are like a 2-walled insulated building, and they move around in the outside, and that's where you get to go. So, the public's here in the middle of the donut, and they move around, and you won't be the only one. Don't be embarrassed. And if nothing happens and your ex behaves like a lamb, beautifully behaved, there's no harm in that either. And it's what they're there for. They're there to keep you safe.
Yeah. So we'll put those links in the show notes. Once you get into the legal system, that you need to still consider your safety. We think it's important for anyone, if they're going into mediation or if they're going into court, to think about being safe on those days before and after when things flare up again. Because yes, things flare up when you leave, but I think it's not talked enough about how things flare up on the day of your mediation or the day of your court case. If it doesn't go their way, how are they going to behave? What are your plans? Because if they are going to be that type of person and you go back to your house, are they going to turn up at your house? Would it be better to avoid that and go somewhere else until things settle down again? So this safety plan is not just for when you're leaving, but also for when you're going through court or whether you're going through mediation and those things flare up again. So, Mum, I know it was a quick, short one, but we constantly tell people to have a safety plan, but I think it's really important that everybody does. You don't have to write it down. You just have to at least thought about it and talk things out. But if you can do it with a professional, 1-800-RESPECT in Australia will be great. They will hook you up with someone who will do that. If you don't want to do that, if you're too scared to do that, think about what we've talked about today. Put something into action today that you may look back and go, I am so glad I did that, because holy moly, there's no way in hell I was going to be able to do any of that when I really was freaking out.
I found a template this morning when I was thinking about this podcast, which we can put up. And it's a free template that you can at least think about, even if you're not able to write it down. And also our purple book from the Gold Coast domestic violence people, they have it on pages 30 and 31, safety plans. And I think the point you made is really important, Laura, that is a safety plan is not a static thing. It's at each stage. Redevelop your plan. What do I need? What do I have to do? And better safe than sorry. That's my cushion for today. Better safe than sorry.
And no one needs to know. If you have a safety plan and you never use it, no one needs to know. But if you have a safety plan and you do use it, you'll be glad you did. So
yes,
that's us reaching out to you today. Biggest hugs if you're listening and you need this. We're here for you, and we've got plenty of other episodes to help you on that process as you get through it. But if you are, we'll be thinking of you and praying for you over this holiday season, and we will speak to you again next week. Thank you, Mum, for your time.
No worries, Laura. Bye, darling. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Stay safe.
Yes, stay safe.
If you found this podcast helpful, we'd love it if you could rate, review and subscribe. By doing so, you are spreading the word to help someone else just like you. Lynn would like to remind you that this podcast is general only, and you should always get legal advice in relation to your particular situation. And remember that the Australian laws may have changed since recording.